In the name of the Anthem podcast, this is Corey.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. It just gets better and better every week.
I'm gonna find the magic.
Yeah, that's not.
And then I'm never gonna do it again, and I'm gonna come up with something stupid next time.
That was not it. Not the one. Although I do like the attention grabbing, because I know it'll play, and there'll be like a little bit of silence, and then stop. Like, what? What was that?
I was thinking the thought process that was going through my head right before I said it was like the stop in the name of love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have gone with that one. Like, stop in the name of the Anthem podcast. This is Corey.
Like, put a little swing into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we are recording today, the 17th of August. Yes. However, this will not be posted, not on the 20th, right? No, not on the 19th.
Yeah. Which
we did last night. I hope you guys enjoyed that last week.
Oh, yes. Man.
It was a train ride.
All kinds of drama.
But this will be posted on the 26th, and we're doing that because you are currently on the 26th, the day of this post, in Chicago.
Well, no, I'm back home.
Oh, that's right, because we're going to record that weekend for the week after.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so, but you would be gone this coming weekend that we would typically be recording.
Right, so we had to nail 2 out.
And did not happen last night.
We tried.
Yeah.
We had every intention of, we're going to go to the bar for a little while. We're just going to relax and enjoy the people who enjoyed Summerfest.
Yes.
Then, come back here at a reasonable hour, knock out 2 podcasts, go to sleep, and then I'd go back up and mix them. But
yeah.
Not so much.
Well, the people are super friendly. You got to love Denton.
Yeah.
Super friendly people. And time gets away from you.
Yes.
And we got to chatting and moving around. And
you got to talking, trying to get everybody to come up.
Yeah,
and watch a live podcast.
More, I was just trying to get a single girl to come up. Any of
right.
them, any of the single girls and the girls who came up, none of them. None of them were interested. So.
None of them wanted to. The only single girl who was up here that you could have possibly done anything with was Colin.
Yes.
But I know that's not your style, so.
Not what I'm into, unfortunately, yes. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about something we actually skipped. We were supposed to talk about last episode, and we didn't, which is you have come to the to the light side. You've joined the Rebel Alliance in hatred of the beach people.
Well, see, I've always hated beach people.
Okay.
This is a long-standing thing.
Right. Now, when we say beach people, you'll hear me say chicken neckers, which is everybody from the Western Shore. Beach people to you are people who are headed to the beach from anywhere.
Well, that's the thing. You say chicken neckers.
Anybody on that side of the bridge.
I feel like you should just limit it to the beach people. Because the people who are causing you problems are the ones who are going to the beach.
But I also...
The 20 people who are coming to any other part of the Eastern Shore...
Oh, well, welcome.
Yeah.
So coming to Summerfest? Welcome.
Right. Like, those people you're fine with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm coming over to come to Denton. I'm not coming to go to Ocean City and clog up your roads. And
so here's the thing, though. I used to
be
call
a passer through.
I used to call them the bike brigade, but people didn't understand that. I thought that was a well-known reference, too. It's people who have bikes on the back of their car because they're going to the beach. Chicken neckers are actually supposed to mean just...
Am I the only one who ever just rented bikes when I got down here? Like, you go to the boardwalk and you rent a bike and you...
It's lucrative.
Ride up and down the boardwalk, and then...
It's a lucrative business, so I assume that there are people who do rent them, but I see them on the back of cars all the time.
I want to save the $12 and just get...
Yeah.
Bring their own bike down.
Sometimes it's just the kids' bikes. They just have the kids, and then, the adults are going to rent theirs.
Right.
They bring the kids' bikes.
Yeah.
But so I called them the bike brigade. People didn't always get that. And I'm like, it's with the bikes in the back of their car going to the beach. Chicken neckers is actually supposed to mean people are down here to vacation. Really, it's people who come down to go crabbing because all of you Baltimoreans come here and go crabbing on vacation. So it's about how you do that. So the term actually means people here are here vacationing, but it's come to mean anyone from that side of the bridge. That's how I use it. Everyone over there. But as you've pointed out, that's probably not a great descriptor because if you were coming for Summerfest this weekend, welcome. Yeah, I want you to be here. But so your word is the beach people.
Yeah.
The people who go to the beach every week.
And we can agree on the beach people because I deal with them on my side of the bridge.
Right.
695 traffic on a Friday is fucking terrible.
Move to Ocean City if you
because everybody just got off work and they want to go and get an early start on their Ocean City vacation.
Let me ask you.
And they just clog up 695 and 97.
Do you know anybody who has, like, all summer, they rent every weekend out at a beach house? Like they do on that. There was a Jersey, it was in Jersey Shore. It was True Life, I'm a Jersey Shore kid. And that's what they did. They rented out a beach house all summer and just went down every single weekend.
No, I do know people who have a place all summer long.
Right.
And they basically, like, live at the beach for the summer.
Right.
And they get a job, like, tending bar or whatever down at the beach.
Yeah.
And then when summer's over, they go back to, Reisterstown or whatever.
I feel like I see the same people going down, and I'm like, that's got to get expensive to, like, go, hey, you want to go to the beach? Yeah, let's get a place for this weekend. And then come down. I don't know.
It's that and the gas and the...
Right.
Specifically, what I wanted to... The part that was bothering me about it, these fucking beach people...
Yeah.
is how long I wait. So I left my place on Friday or Saturday at like 4 o'clock, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a solid hour. I was like at Annapolis, so making grand time.
Is that good time, an hour down there? Well, yeah, I guess so, because I can get to your house in a little under 2 hours. If I can get to Annapolis in 45, 50 minutes, and then up to your house in 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, so, I mean, got down to Annapolis in about an hour. That area, I guess I should say, because it was, on the highway. I wasn't, like, actually in downtown Annapolis or anything, but got down to the Annapolis area in about an hour, and then sat for an additional hour leading up to the bridge.
Yeah, not good.
And there had been an accident earlier, which caused a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But that accident was long past.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was just, like, bottlenecking.
Yeah, well, it's 2 lanes of traffic going into 9 lanes of tolls.
And then back into 3 lanes.
Yeah. And it's just not good. Not good at all. And it's not even just that. It's the to people who... How long... I mean, I know they just upped the bridge. They just upped the bridge toll. I get that. There are still people who sit there like, how much? Okay. Sweetie, can you grab my wallet out of the back?
Yeah. Do you take checks?
Prepared. Do you take a check? Do you have? Can I have a credit card? Do you have like a Square?
Yeah.
You've been doing this, okay?
Right.
You know.
Here's the thing, though. This is my new plan.
Right. Governor Corey.
If you have an Easy Pass,
yes.
As soon as you get to the last spot on, like, where you can't take an exit anymore on a toll road.
They should. They should lock. Yeah, they lock you out. Oh, you mean no? Okay,
so like if you're on the highway,
right,
and you're on a toll road, it'll say like last exit before the toll.
Oh yeah, like up at the tunnels and stuff.
Yeah. Before you hit that point, there should be like an Easy Pass reader,
right,
that just clocks your time.
Okay.
Like Corey entered the checkpoint at 10 o'clock.
Checkpoint.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about checkpoints later.
Checkpoint A at 10 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
And then figure out a reasonable amount of time that it takes to get to the actual toll from checkpoint A. So if it's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes. If it takes me an hour to get from checkpoint A...
And that's not best time. That's not like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right, just like a regular, like, what's the average amount of time that it takes you to get through kind of thing, Yeah. And don't be a dick about it. Like, if it takes 16 minutes to get through rather than 15, like, I'm talking about extreme situations.
Right.
If I go through checkpoint A and then get to the toll and it took an hour and it was supposed to take 15 minutes, I think the toll should be free.
Okay.
And if it's fucking absurd...
Well,
I would
say an hour is absurd.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, okay, so call it half hour. If it takes a half hour to get through, then you don't have to pay the toll.
Right.
It's our fault for not clearing the road.
Right.
Like, and that'll give them incentive to clean it faster.
And it's not even cleaning it. It's getting... Easy Pass should have its own lane. And I know it does sometimes. You get in the left lane and go.
On the other side of the bridge.
Other side.
Yeah.
But let's do that more often. If I am in Easy Pass, I should get to go fast.
Well, I like the Easy Pass things, like going up 95 to New York.
Readers?
Where, it's
don't
like,
slow down.
And then you have like a whole separated lane.
Yeah.
And like you just bust off and get in there and you're done.
Yeah.
But like, so this has happened with me going into like the tunnel before, like on 895.
Right.
Where I'll say to myself, like, okay, I got to get there quick. I can't, it'll take me 25 minutes to get to Aaron's house.
Yeah.
If I take the tunnel, it'll take me 40 if I cut through the city.
Yeah.
and I need that 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the tunnel.
It's worth the $2 right now.
It's more than that, but
Four? No, four. 4 each way. Is it 4 each way?
yeah, I think it's 4 each way.
I have the Easy Pass.
Or
So
6.
it's like take it out of my credit card. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Oh, I'm broke.
it's a toll,
Yeah.
so it's going to suck regardless. But there was once where I was going through 895 specifically for the purpose of saving time.
Yeah.
And then there was a traffic in the tunnel, or accident in the tunnel.
Yeah. Both lanes.
So, no, just the one lane, but
Oh.
like everybody bottled up, and
Right.
it wasn't happening.
By the way,
so,
can we be adults?
I feel like if I have to wait an hour to get through the Harbor Tunnel,
Mhm.
then I shouldn't have to pay for it.
You owe me money.
You owe me, yeah, and that's the thing. Like it'll escalate.
Right.
So if it's 15 minutes, is like the common time, and it takes a half hour, then it's free.
Right.
If it takes 45 minutes, you owe me $1.
Mm-hmm.
If it takes an hour, you owe me whatever the toll is in reverse.
Okay.
So if it's a $4 toll, you owe me $4.
So if it's 2 hours, you owe me $8.
Yeah, and just keep escalating from there.
And you're not paying me cash.
If I'm one of those Chinese traffic jams that last 72 hours,
Toll's free the rest of my life.
yeah,
Right.
that kind of thing.
I see what
You
you're
owe me
saying.
$100.
You're not sending me cash. I don't want to check. What I want to do is go through some more tolls and not have to pay for them.
Well, because there was a thing. I remember I was watching when John Stossel was on 2020
Oh God, he's so good.
talking about like the private road business,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody was just like, "Well, people pay money to drive on our road, yes,
Yeah.
but they know that they have a clear. We do a lot of traffic control on it. If there's an accident, we're there in 5 minutes or less clearing it.
Yeah.
Like it's very efficient, and that's why people pay the money to go on the. And that's what tolls are supposed to essentially be.
Well, that
Like-
was the first toll road was a PA Turnpike, and that happened because there was so much junk and accidents and problems on this one stretch of highway that a couple of farmers got together and said, you know what? Well, not really highway, a roadway at that point. And they said, we could do this. We can keep it clean. You know, how are we going to pay for it? Well, we put a drop gate at one end. People pay a penny or whatever
Yeah,
to come through, and we use that
back
money.
in the day when a penny was like $2.
A lot of money, yeah. So then, and we have a guy who rides his horse, maybe a couple guys who ride horses up and down the roadway, and when you break an axle, they help move your car off the road space.
Yeah.
And that way the guy behind you isn't, moving. And when it washes out during that rainstorm, we fix it. We go out there as soon as the rainstorm's done and repair the road space.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't really road space. But that's not what it is anymore. Now it's getting money for the state because they have you at a bottleneck where you have to go over something.
And there's some toll roads that are specifically designed for this is going to get you from one place to another faster and for the convenience you pay.
ICC.
Yeah, the
Love the
Inter-County
ICC.
Connector
Yeah.
is like that.
And that's the newest toll road in Maryland. And I love it. I'm glad.
Never have a reason to use it, but
No, but if I lived in the DC area and I used it to get to work, it would be worth every dollar.
yeah.
When everything else was backed up and I had to get around the city, well, God, why was I even there? Returning books, maybe? I don't know. But I remember being like, the only clear road in all of my Google Maps, the only one that's green is the ICC.
And that that's they're doing the toll lane on 95.
Right.
That's supposed to be like that. Like, you can just breeze through.
Is that north of Baltimore? Heading.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they're doing. In
Like
the
up to
middle.
like 695
Yeah.
abouts.
I'm fine with that. I'll pay $2.
Yeah, but I don't want to
to
pay the money and then have that be backed up too.
Right, yeah.
If for any reason that thing's backed up, I never want to use it.
Well, I like.
I don't want to like, sign in to the express lane and then have.
I paid money to sit.
I paid money to sit here in traffic.
Yeah. Have you seen?
Like
the,
you should give me money back is what I'm.
Have you seen the automatic road that they built in Northern California?
No.
It's a toll road, and I think it's 6 lanes or 7 lanes wide, and there is a couple of robots that work it, and they adjust the lanes as traffic patterns need. So there's 7 lanes. You can have 6 going one way, 1 going the other,
Or
reverse
like
it.
4 and 3 or.
But these things go by, and they move the Jersey walls.
Oh wow.
overlanes.
Yeah.
And that's what it's meant for. You're paying for a toll road, and the road itself will adjust based on traffic. So you start to get a little bottleneck, and you'll see this little robot that looks like it's part of the wall, but then it like kind of comes up onto wheels.
I'd hate to be like one of the people in like the second that they turn it into like 6 and 1.
Yeah.
And I'm in like the second end lane on the other side.
It's coming at you.
Yeah,
it doesn't move that fast.
Shit!
It's not like it's coming at you at 70 miles
It'll be
an
like
hour.
a action movie where I go up on the Jersey wall and go flip the car and like.
Yeah. No, but
I'm too old for this shit.
Another chance to use that graphic.
Yeah.
Yes. Fucking right to pussy. All day, every day. But no, so it moves at like 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But what they say is that when it figures out that lane change is going to be necessary,
Yeah.
you're slowing down to 20, 25 miles an hour anyway. So it moves and people will come in behind it and just kind of move as it adds lane.
All right.
And it also responds further down at a section and moves that. You know, so it's supposed to stay all together, but the little robots will start moving lanes further down. So it opens things up, and it's like the future. But then I realize, now that I'm saying that Google also has drivable cars, and I would prefer that over adding a lane.
See, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I wouldn't want.
We can all ride at 150 miles an hour because computers are helping us keep the cars? Not helping. The computers have control of the cars. Minority Report style.
I like driving.
But Minority Report style, where you can go to places and drive, or iRobot, where you can take personal control, and the things like warning, 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 high speed, not advisable, or whatever, where you to take the
Yeah, I just would prefer to drive.
And that would be the perfect world for you, because then the little robots, like the little doors come up, and they come out and clean out the car accident. It just disappears 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
But no, I get that you like to drive, and that's great, but I also like to go places fast. And I would prefer to go 150 miles an hour because all the computers are controlling it over you going for a Sunday drive. Especially because there's places you can go. Get off the highway. Get off the superhighway.
No, but I mean, like, I have to go. It's not like I drive for leisure anymore. I don't have time for that.
So why would you not want the computer to run your car where you can drive at 150 miles an hour?
Because then I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs.
You could do what I did. Mama, come outside. Now, do what I did. No.
Oh, yeah. I get you.
It's flashing back to Ocean City.
Yeah.
But no, where I was working, I was writing on my notepad.
Yeah.
And for people who follow me on Facebook, at Rob Cheek Esquire, I was writing on my notepad, sitting in stop traffic, but except for we would be moving at 150 miles an hour, and the asshole would be like, "Pay attention!"
Yeah. He wouldn't be able.
We're not moving.
It's an automatic car.
What do you want me to do? Come on, I'm working here.
Yeah.
But no, I would love that, and I could text, and I could. Oh, I mean, I already text. No, I don't text and drive. Why would I ever do that?
Well, it's stoplights.
Stoplights, right?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But no, I could work.
When you're just like I follow the speed limit when I street race.
Right,
GTRs.
Exactly right.
55 miles per hour on the nose.
Exactly. No, it's a 64.9 because 9 you're fine.
Right, 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine. So.
But no, but I think it would be great. And I work too much already, and to have, if I could cut out the like 3 hours a day that I'm in my car going here, there, and everywhere, I would love it. I would have more work time there, and then I could have more relaxed time elsewhere. Because that's the only time that my life, that's the only time I waste now. The only time I waste when I'm not drinking at a bar, which was a waste, obviously. But,
Yeah.
is in the car. That's it. So it'd be great.
I don't know. I still would prefer to drive. That's just me.
And yeah, you're like my dad, who's got the 1997 flip phone, and he's like, it works for me. And he went to get a new phone, and they were like, went for the upgrade, and they're like, oh no, we don't even make that. I don't even know what this is that you have.
Yeah.
And he's like, screw your upgrade. I'll take another 2 years on this one. And he still got his phone from like 2004. Well, he never drops it because he never uses it. So
Right.
it's like a Nokia. It's in perfect shape, and he'll have it for the rest of his life. He'll just rock that flip phone.
The one that I like is my dad just got the S5.
Yeah.
And
Guy, I can't figure this out. Come
well,
here.
that's the thing. Like, he might as well have a flip phone though, because I don't think he does like.
He calls people on it.
Yeah, I and not happy about it either.
I don't get, why is there not buttons? I don't get the not buttons thing.
Well, no, and like he might as well have a flip phone, but he wants the S5, which is fine. And then I don't think he does things though, which is like
doesn't use it.
Yeah, like it's like I have a Ferrari for going to the store and getting some milk and coming back.
This is the one owner Ferrari. It was only used to go to church and on Sunday in the store. 16,000 miles. It's a 1997 Ferrari. Yeah, like that.
Ferrari La Tigre. Or Ferrari La Ferrari.
Oh, were you the one? You were the one who told me about that. The car in Batman is a
Aventador,
which means bat.
Yeah.
In Italian.
Yeah.
I had no idea. It's
That's
like
good.
one of those mind-blowing moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I learned that from Cinefix.
Cinefix?
Yeah, it's a YouTube channel I like.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is that the thing they play before the movie? Where
No.
they're like weird facts. No. Is it like that though?
It's
Just
like
weird facts about movies?
did you ever see the did you watch The Simpsons? I don't know if you.
Yeah, I did. Well, not when I was little because my parents wouldn't let me.
Right.
I called
There
it
was there was the one where they go to the movie theater and it's like the name scramble.
Right.
And it clearly is like Tom Hanks, but just like with two letters like out of place.
Yeah.
And Lisa's like, come on, it's obviously Tom Hanks. And then they show the answer and it's Omar Shank or something like that. And she's just like, Omar Shank. And Apu is behind her and it's like, oh, he's the most famous film actor in India.
Oh, Bollywood star.
Omar Shank.
Oh, this makes me laugh. Thank you, Simpsons, for educating us that a 10-year-old can stay 10 for 27 years.
Yeah. Well, technically, every episode could be like a day.
I guess. But now we are reaching a point where even that explanation does not make sense.
They do make time go fast in The Simpsons, too, though.
What, like they flash forward?
Yeah. Well, like, a year later kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Nobody ages.
Aren't they going to start aging them? First of all, also...
I liked when South Park went from like 3rd to 4th grade. I thought that was fun.
It was a big deal too.
Yeah.
Like 3 seasons in or whatever, they age them. I'm trying to think. No, this is supposed to be way out already. But FXX is playing every Simpsons episode back to back.
I'm very excited about that.
I wish I had time to watch.
I wish I had FXX.
I wish I had a DVR that could record 99 hours of stuff. Probably more than that. No.
It's one of the. I feel like it's going on for like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah,
like that.
no. I was gonna say it's 27 seasons, 22 episodes.
The only one I want to know. It's my favorite episode of The Simpsons, and they can't air it anymore in syndication because of all the things that happen in it.
Yeah,
but it's Homer versus New York.
Yes.
Where Barney borrows his car and then leaves it in between the Twin Towers.
Right, and they don't show it on the TV anymore.
Yeah. And there's things like where people are like yelling at each other between the Twin Towers, like, "Hey, why don't you come over here?"
North Tower versus South Tower.
Yeah. And obviously back in the day it was perfectly innocuous, but now like,
right?
You see, anytime you see it, you're just like,
it's like I
fucking sidebar.
Yeah.
Aaron made me watch this movie with Robert Pattinson in it, and I can't remember what the name of it is. But
it's helpful.
It's a Robert Pattinson movie.
So it's one of 6 because nobody puts him in the movies.
Right. It's not Cosmopolis. It's not Twilight, obviously. It's not the stupid one where he played Dali.
He played who? Oh, Salvador Dali?
He played Salvador Dali.
What?
And like, the Dali is very noticeable. Like, Dali. Like, have you seen Midnight in Paris with when Adrian Brody plays him?
Yeah.
Like, that's Dali.
That's a good one.
Dali.
Yeah. And
the rhinoceros.
The mustache and the crazy. And isn't he the one that wouldn't sleep? He would sleep with a spoon in his hand so that when he got into a deep sleep, it would hit the floor and wake him up.
I don't know. I don't remember specifics. But, like, anyway.
26 movies he's been in.
He played is that all?
Yeah.
He played Dali in a movie where he was just like, Robert Pattinson, like, I don't understand. What do you think?
Cosmopolis?
No. It's not that. Because
I'm looking for foreign sounding ones that might.
No. Here, give it to me a second. If you got it pulled up.
Yeah.
I'll find the one real quick.
Anyway, but Dali is one of those guys. I think that he's in the.
Remember Me.
What was that one?
Okay, so I'm not going to. What year did that come out, by the way?
2010.
2000. Okay.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
So hold on. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. If you have any interest in seeing this shitty ass movie, Remember Me is like the whole movie goes along. That if it's an hour and a half, for an hour and 25 minutes, the movie goes along like a regular like romantic comedy kind of like we're never gonna work out.
Oh, we are too different.
Yeah, we're too different. this guy has issues, blah 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 blah, etc.
Apparently, they both have issues. They both have suffered some very traumatic stuff in their life.
Yeah, and then you're 5 minutes out, and you're just like, all right, so we're coming up on the end here. How are they gonna
wrap that story?
How are they gonna wrap this story up? And then all of a sudden, like, she goes to visit her father, or he goes to visit his father, and he gets out of the subway in New York, and you look up, and it's the Twin Towers.
No,
I'm just like, 2010. Like, I'm doing the math. Like,
yeah, this movie came out.
This movie is supposed to be like, I thought it was supposed to be current day,
right?
But apparently, it's when the Twin Towers were still there. And then he goes up into the South Tower or whatever, and
it's September 11th.
September 11th, and the plane hits, and everybody's crying. You see people like running through the street with the smoke. All the images that you're used to, with September 11th.
And give a motherfucker a warning.
I was screaming. Aaron had no idea why I was so pissed, but I was like, fucking 4,000 people died.
Yeah. And
you're using it as an easy out on your stupid ass movie?
Some guy just couldn't finish it. He was like, all right, so how are we going to wrap this
up? And she looked it up, and the writer apparently wanted it to be he wanted to write about September 11th.
Right.
And he wanted to write how it all of a sudden hit people. Nobody was expecting it.
And I can get that.
But still,
it would be better
if you have a stupid ass movie,
right,
and you end it with September 11th.
I'm gonna hate you.
I'm sorry, that's fucking 4,000 people died.
And I mean, I get it more that you wrap up the story and then boom, it happens, or you get to that point where it's about to wrap up, where you're like, oh, they love each other, and now they know. Tragedy. I get.
Not only that though, there's been a couple movies that have September 11th, obviously the United 93 or whatever,
right? Which was good. I liked the one with the kid, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close.
See, and
that was good.
Every single person who heard about United 93 or Extremely Loud prior to it coming out was like, oh, I don't think I want to watch a movie about September 11th.
Yeah.
It's not it's one of those too soon situations. I don't think I really want to see this.
Yeah.
And it hurt both those movies.
But it was super cute. It was a good movie.
But it's kind of if I know that there's going to be September 11th in a movie, I almost don't want to go.
And that's why I say give a motherfucker a heads up.
Yeah, if you're gonna make the big ending of your movie September 11th, then fuck, I'm so pissed at you for doing that. And
I'm looking at the cover art for it right now.
Yeah,
you could put the Twin Towers in the back, just so I know it's New York pre 2001. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're building. I do see World Trade Center buildings. The ones that didn't go down but were damaged. I think that's there. And then it's as if it shifted a little bit, because you would be able to see it if it was actually a centered picture. But anyway, there are certain events that you need to give somebody a warning about.
Right.
If it's 1955, 60 even, and you're doing a movie, and then all of a sudden, the mom gets a telegram, give me a warning that the mom's got a kid overseas in war and he dies,
right?
Or that Pearl Harbor happens, or whatever. Let me know that, and they would never think to do that. The whole movie would be so get ready because
here's the shock,
because Pearl Harbor happened. And it's affected everybody, and we're about to shock you with it,
Yeah, but the way they played New York was
could be modern day.
You just assumed that it was modern day New York.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's getting harder and harder to do that because the further we get, it's now, if you were to write one about the first attack on the World Trade Center, the guy's got the huge cell phone.
Yeah.
Or what was that movie with Colin Farrell?
Phone booth?
Phone booth, yeah. He walks into a phone booth, you're like, all right, this has got to be early 2000s at best.
Right.
At best. Or before.
I've been working on a scene for about that time I fell in love. Adjusting it a little bit. And one of the things I was thinking about doing was he's calling a drug dealer, trying to get weed.
Right.
And the thought is it's kind of like a relationship. When you're in a relationship and then all of a sudden all these girls come at you.
Yeah.
And when you're single, nobody comes at you. It's he has that rationalization. Like, listen, I got weed right now, but once I need it, once I need to re-up, then I don't have anything, and nobody answers my calls. So I'd rather just every time I get some more.
Every time I get some, I get some. Yeah. Well,
just try to load up while it's good, and then
when it dries out, because inevitably when I need it, it'll be a dry spell.
Yeah,
they'll bust a bunch of drug dealers or something.
Right, and that was the thought process I was going through on writing this thing. But then I also think, like, man, if this movie, there's a very real possibility that 5 years from now, like, weed is legal everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's calling a drug dealer? Like,
well, and that's and then you watch movies like that, and you're like, oh my God, remember when it was a big deal?
Remember when you had to call a guy and you had to go over to a shady apartment and act like you cared about his cat?
Yeah, let's sit down here let's sit and talk for 20 minutes and then pretend that it actually, like, we're friends.
Yeah.
But we have that conversation 10 years later. We're like, we're not really friends.
Yeah.
I was 10 or I was 15 or 16 and you sold weed and I felt like we needed to act friendly.
Yeah.
In order for you to sell it to me. Like, this wasn't
I wanted to be, like, on your list of good people for when, like, I call you up and I'm just like, listen, I'm kind of in need, man.
Right, yeah. I'll hit you up on Friday.
I'll pull some strings, man. It's all right.
Yeah. I'll give you some out of my personal supply. But no, it'll be, I fully suspect that it'll be like that it'll be, once it's legalized, people will look back at the shady dealings, like how excited I was when I found out, not that I have ever smoked pot, of course, but when I found out you can get delivery in New York City, that people will just come to your door and deliver it to you. And not that I ever did, but I heard that was a thing that people did.
So, and you were excited at the prospect.
Very excited at the prospect.
Yeah. But
Maryland's going to legalize it, hopefully. Legalize it.
Well, we're decriminalizing it first, which means doing it without tax revenue, which is good fun.
Yeah. What's the point, really? And that's my argument to the governor is right now it is basically still taxed because there's a fine that you have to pay if you get caught with it.
Correct.
So let's just tax it instead. How about that? And then we get it on everything, not just the illegal stuff that you catch. And it's, well, that's
going back to episode 2?
Whatever it was, yes. Legalize it. Anyway, so you brought up checkpoints earlier. And one thing I want to talk about, 2 disclaimers first. Number 1 is that, again, we are recording this on the 16th or whatever day it is. 17th.
17th.
So, I know that this information is probably dated, and I think we're just going to use it more as a motivator to talk about other things. But what has happened in the last week is there has been a lot of people being upset in Ferguson, Missouri, which is a suburb of St. Louis. So just a quick review for those who, it's probably already out of the news cycle and people have already forgotten.
Yeah. We've already moved on to some other
Michael Brown.
Horrible tragedy where the cop pulls an 89-year-old grandmother out of a car and
yanks her and pepper sprays her and stuff. So Michael Brown is a young man who lives in Ferguson, and allegedly, the point at where we're at now is allegedly he committed robbery, although the cop who was involved did not know he was the man who committed robbery.
Right.
But let's make him look bad, so it's okay that he got shot. Which is, spoiler alert, he apparently, according to the person who live tweeted his death, the cop pulled out, was telling him to stop, and he was like, I'm stopped. Yeah, he had his hands in the air. The cop pulls an AR-15 out of the trunk of his car, and Michael Brown gets on his knees and says, don't shoot, please don't shoot. And then, of course, the cop responds by shooting him several times in the chest.
Yeah.
Then the cop walks over after his body has slumped on the ground.
As cops tend to do.
Yes. He walks over and then puts several more rounds in his back just to make sure that he is going to be docile and doesn't resist arrest.
And then the body sits there for hours.
Yeah, so then does not call emergency services, does not call coroner, doesn't call anybody. They just hang out.
Did you hear the copy of the scanner?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah, Anonymous. Hell yeah,
yeah,
Anonymous releasing the tapes. Good for you. Where somebody called 911. The first person to call 911
everyone was saying crowd control, though.
Yeah.
We need crowd control at this situation, not shooting at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody local, somebody who was a witness, I suppose, called. EMS did not come. Additional units came because although they called for an ambulance, the cops were on the radio saying, we're going to need crowd control here. Pronto. Crowd control now.
Yeah.
And he was apparently walking around, from the pictures I've seen, walking around with an AR-15. No vest, nothing like would happen later, but seriously just walking around looking like, I will shoot any of you. I shot this kid. I'll shoot you. Don't
Yeah.
play. Anyway, so everybody erupted. The body laid on the street for literally hours. Eventually, one of the officers covered the body with a white sheet. Still no coroner. Still no ambulance. Never came.
Yeah.
No ambulance. The kid, who probably died very early, and I think that the coroner hasn't released a report, but I'm almost sure he died very soon after being shot the first time.
Well, they always do the thing where the autopsy will take 4 to 8 weeks.
Right, yeah. Well, we have to make sure there's no drugs in his system because there'll be pot, and that's why he got shot, because he has pot in his system.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so we haven't found it out. I'm guessing he died very quickly, and it was probably beyond getting shot 7 or 8 times is a mortal wound. You're not going to probably make it, no matter how close you're to the hospital.
That'll do it.
But they never called EMS or nothing. And instead, the other cops came out. So the city erupted, as well it should. And what started out the first night as a very peaceful protest, people just saying, we want explanations. Why was there no ambulance? Why did this cop reach into the trunk of his car, because that's where they keep them, and pull out an AR-15 and shoot a kid who was on his knees with his hands in the air, saying, don't shoot me.
Right.
And so the big thing was, as they walked through the streets, they had their hands held up and they were saying, don't shoot me, whatever. So the police, as they tend to do, overreacted, and they met the protesters not with gentlemen in uniform saying, listen, let's disperse this. Let's come back tomorrow and have an open conversation about this. What they did was they called out 2 SWAT teams and gassed the crowd.
Well, see, this is the thing that obviously is part of the problem. I don't know what Baltimore County's like SWAT / Special Tactics unit looks like.
Oh, it's impressive.
But I'm sure it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's big too.
The thing that gets me is like, so if something happened in Towson, per se,
right?
Like, obviously Baltimore County would be out there with all their toys. But there's a National Guard unit, like, on York Road.
Right.
So if, like, shit really got out of hand, I feel like that would be the...
No, they don't. Because the concern about using the National Guard is that the National Guard was at Kent State. These are soldiers, and the theory is that police are used to dealing with people.
Right.
The National Guard are soldiers, and they are trained in a much different way.
Yeah.
Crowd control for somebody who's been in Iraq should not be the same as crowd control for somebody who works the streets of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or Towson. It is. It turns out, if we look at Ferguson, it actually is very similar. But nonetheless, so...
But also the other thing is, like, why do local police forces have this sort of... Like, yes, if you gave me a helicopter, then I would use it for a lot of fun shots. Like, every single short film that I made would have a helicopter shot.
Right. Because I have a helicopter.
I have the toy. I'm going to use it.
One of us gets a private jet. Every movie's got a private jet in it.
But do I deserve a helicopter, or would I use it responsibly? No.
Right.
I would find any opportunity I could to use it.
And that's what happens. Denton, the very small town that I live in, has an APC with a knock-knock on the front, which is a big bar that can flip forward and bust down a wall.
Right.
Why do the police in Denton need 2 Humvees, both with 50 caliber racks on them? Which a 50 caliber rack will hold a 50 caliber machine gun. It'll also hold a multiple gas firing, a gun that can fire multiple gas canisters.
Yeah.
So they have 2 Humvees that have 50 caliber racks, and they also have an APC that has a knock-knock on it. So why does Denton, Maryland need that?
Yeah.
They don't. But what they do have is...
Well, they got grant money after...
They have a military-industrial complex, which says that if we retire military equipment and then the military buys more equipment, that's good for us. But how are we going to get rid of the old equipment? Well, let's have the federal government, give the local government money that they have to match 10% of, only 10%. And then they can only use those funds to buy ex-military equipment. Yeah. So Denton gets an APC, even though it doesn't need one. A guy who I love, Ed Norris, got into a lot of trouble with these grants.
Yeah.
And it's not really with the grant, but indirectly
using
his personal money that then was paid back through a grant, basically. Anyway, so but the fact is they don't need the equipment. Now, maybe Baltimore County does. Because I imagine that SWAT gets into some situations in Baltimore County, And they also respond to Baltimore City. And
See, but I feel like SWAT is something that should happen like once a week. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, but they get called out far more often than that.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like the fire department. Like the fire department, sometimes it's not like fires happen more often than they did before.
Cats aren't getting stuck in trees. Now, the fire department's not going out to get cats out of trees anymore.
Right, but I mean, the fire department, it's one of those things like if you're a fireman, either you have a fire or you don't have a fire. There's not a reason that you're going out.
You're not starting fires?
You're not starting fires to put them out.
Yeah, right. Like, unless you're the guy down in Virginia. Then
so hypothetically, you're if there's no fires that day, you're sitting around the firehouse, like, watching the game and hanging out and waiting.
And thank you for your service. I love that you're there, and I am willing to pay you so that when there is a fire, you're there to come put it out.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like all of a sudden what used to be SWAT once a week at a reasonable,
Yeah.
There's a man hauled up in there with 15 guns, and he's a dangerous criminal, and, we need to get him out. We need to extract him without any trouble.
Right.
Becomes this guy has a bench warrant for speeding. Let's call out SWAT.
And they do warrant checks.
Toss his house.
They're sending SWAT out just to pick up people on warrants. Like regular old, not violent, not gun related, just all warrants. They're also, they use them for things like a man who is holed up in a bathroom with a knife saying he's going to kill himself. Send out the SWAT team.
Yeah.
We cannot allow him to take his own life. We need to shoot him. Did you hear that story from Nashville, by the way?
No.
Which happened on Friday the 15th. So a gentleman was threatening suicide, and he was standing on a bridge. So they shot him in the head, and he survived the first wound, and he got back up and tried to jump again, so they shot him again.
Seriously?
I'm like, really, guys? Really? You can't just let him jump off the bridge? Like, not that I want that to happen, but better than taking 2 gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think falling off the bridge after taking the second wound to the head. So you take a second shot to the head, which tumbles you over the bridge into the water. Great police work, guys. Great police work. Like, not rubber bullets, like actual firing and hitting him with bullets.
Yeah.
I can't. So the problem is the militarization. And what happened in Ferguson was the first night response was not gentlemen, like, guys, let's disperse, let's calm down, which actually happened on the fourth night. Yeah. And much props to Captain Johnson, who calmed the situation down, of the Missouri Highway Patrol, who calmed the situation down
as of
that night.
Yeah, that night.
But no, instead SWAT came out and gassed people, and then everybody found out about it, so people were coming out of the woodwork, and there was media there, and
well, that was here's the thing that bugs me. It's not just the militarization of our local police departments, but like, there were stories about like reporters getting like their shit broken and
Al Jazeera
tear gassed, and
there is a video from Al Jazeera that has they're recording the cops gassing the crowd,
and everybody,
bad enough.
Everybody, because at least there's one idiot who's hearing Al Jazeera and thinking like,
Al Jazeera America,
what the fuck are they doing over here?
Yeah.
Covering it like. It's a worldwide news organization,
and honestly,
it's just like the BBC.
Like the BBC, it's better reporting than you're going to get from any of the American stations. Anyway, so the cops are gassing the crowd. Al Jazeera sets up there real quick, like pop, tripod down, get out there, stand out in front. We're going to
put up a quickie light,
right? And you see the officer who like voop, voop, voop out into the crowd. He turns, points at the Al Jazeera crew, taps the guy next to him on the shoulder, points at him again, and the guy turns and fires what is clearly a TV crew, clearly media, quick light, camera, a good-looking young guy with a mic in his hand.
Right.
Clearly a TV crew. And Eddie, they fire gas at them and gas them out. And then, so you get a picture from the other side where another TV crew is like, are they gassing the Al Jazeera crew over there? Who watch the video, and you see the crew run off, and then the gas come out, and then quickly the video ends because they realize that being media, it doesn't help you. And I've now started following this guy, Matt Pierce, I want to say Matt Pierce, on Twitter and on Instagram, and he was just like, I was wearing a bright yellow vest that I wore in Iraq.
Yeah.
No, not Iraq.
Is it the Washington Post reporter you're talking about? Yeah.
And it has press across it, and it's bright yellow, and it says press in black. You could not get any more clear that I am a member of the media.
Yeah.
And they shot a gas canister at him when he is standing apart from the crowd. And their justification was it's all about crowd control, and if people see you standing there, it's going to encourage them to stand their ground. don't gas the media. Don't gas the media. And then he was in McDonald's when 2 other guys got arrested because the SWAT closed down a McDonald's, which, by the way, welcome to any Soviet country. All of you conservatives who think that Soviet socialism is the worst thing in the world. The SWAT team went in and closed down businesses and just said, everybody off the streets. You're no longer allowed to be on the streets.
Yeah.
SWAT, not the governor, which happened later, which I want to get to too. But so it was horrible. And
just the governor of Missouri, Jay Nixon, like I feel
slow
like
on the uptick. Come on, guy.
He doesn't. I hear every once in a while something that he says, but it doesn't seem like he's really like.
No. Well, he's not up for re-election for a couple more years, so it's not like
he wants to keep his hands clean of this whole situation.
Yeah. Well, and what I said is that there's an idea of tacit consent. The mayor wasn't saying anything. The town council wasn't saying anything, or the city council wasn't saying anything. Governor didn't say anything. That's what we call tacit consent, where if it works out and the police look like heroes, you can say, well, I mean, we didn't give them the order, but obviously we didn't stop them. If it doesn't work out and the police end up killing people, which, by the way, has happened now, then you could say, it's not like we gave them orders.
Well, it happened to start the whole problem.
Well, that's true, too. It's true, too. Not the first body. But then you can say, no, well, it's not like we gave them the order. No, that's crazy police work. That's police going crazy and not what we should be doing. So, but in the end, what it comes down to is that the governor responded late, that he sent the Secretary of State out there 4 days in, and by the time the Secretary of State got there, the Highway Patrol had stepped up already. And then, as I said, the governor came in and made an announcement 3 hours after Corporal Johnson, who is the head of the Highway Patrol of the area, basically came in and told SWAT to stand down and that they were taking over. Then the governor comes in 3 hours later and is like, well, yes, so we have ordered the Highway Patrol to take over. Yeah. The story that came out, though, is that these guys were like, we need to calm the situation down. Let's go out there and do that. This guy is a great community leader, and stepped up and did it, and then the governor took credit for ordering him to go out there.
The one thing that bothers me, and I feel like part of, obviously this whole thing with white police officer and black criminal, or black
protesters for the most part.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I was thinking about the original
the victim.
Black victim.
Yeah,
is that it's obviously going to take that racial component,
right? But
something kind of bothers me about. I read a lot of news stories where they were talking about, like, Johnson, who's black.
Yeah. Like, really?
Is joined with other community leaders, also black. Like, we gotta make sure that we, like, put out there, like nobody gave a fuck that Robert Kennedy or Jack Kennedy was white.
No. They were community leaders.
They were doing what they could for everybody. And, you don't, just like, if if Martin Luther King was, just standing up for some sort of, like,
he fought against Vietnam.
Yeah.
He fought against Vietnam, so that was, and it was a racial issue because there was a lot of black kids going.
It's not like anybody was yelling like, "Hey, stick with your black stuff."
Yeah,
like we don't need you here. Like,
no, and
I feel like part of the problem is beyond just the actual problem.
Yeah,
but the feeling that now we need to, like.
Well, a couple of my tweets.
It's like one of those, like, I have black friends. I'm not racist. I have black friends. Like,
a couple of my tweets went relatively viral on the night that Twitter blew up about it, and I guess here's the second what do you call it? The disclaimer that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
My thoughts are mine alone. Corey may or may not share them, but he has his thoughts. Everything that you hear coming out of my mouth is my thought only. It doesn't represent the podcast. It doesn't represent Corey. It doesn't represent anything. And I realize that the things I say are maybe very controversial, but I'm going to say them anyway. So,
fuck her right in the pussy.
Exactly right. So things escalated from that first night, and on the fourth night, which was the night that I was talking about, people were throwing Molotov cocktails at the police, which I think was completely justified because the police were starting to shoot and ask questions later. It was not what's going on. There's a very infamous picture that started out that night of a black kid walking away backwards from the cops, and they shot him with a rubber bullet. Walking backwards with his hands up, shot him with a rubber bullet. Instead of saying, hey, get on the ground, we're going to cuff you. It was, they came around the corner of a chain link fence. Oh, God, black kid, pop, pop, hit him with a rubber bullet, and he's down.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of tweets that went kind of viral, I think a couple hundred retweets and likes or whatever. But it was just stop being blinded by the race issue. The race issue is something that the rich people of this country, the people who run the country, the people who tell you who to vote for and what to do and what to buy and what music to listen to and everything else, they keep all of us down. The majority of us, call it the 99%, call it the 83%, I don't care what you call it, but the majority of people who aren't super rich, they keep us down because they keep us fighting about shit that doesn't matter. I, as a poor white person, have more in common with a poor black person than I do with a rich white person. Because in the end, we have more struggles that are similar than I do with the guy who's white. White means nothing to me. Being white hasn't helped me at all. Or I shouldn't say that, because I can talk shit to the cops and not get shot.
Yeah, there
is white privilege. I shouldn't say that. There is white privilege. But in this case, when you're talking about black cops and black kids no, it doesn't matter. Because in the end, the black cops are symbols of the oppressor. And the black kids who are out there have more in common with the white kids who are walking with them than they do with the black cops. And the white kids that are walking there have more in common with the other protesters than they do with the white cops on the other side. Race means nothing. Everything is about socioeconomic status today. And everything else is just fog to try and make you not see that. Your sexual orientation and whatever other factors you want to pick out, they want to divide us because they know that together we are more powerful than they are, and they just don't want to have that. So I put it out there, and there was some people who were very excited about that. But on the fourth night, things escalated extremely bad, and I say bad, but in my mind, I actually think good, because people were actually standing up against the police, and they weren't taking the SWAT anymore.
Yeah,
throwing Molotov cocktails, fighting back against SWAT, and I'm actually writing a pamphlet. Cherish is helping me with, and that's what she was talking about last night, and hopefully it'll be coming out by the fall. And one of the things I advocate for in there is that there should be an organized resistance somewhere, that just like 1,000 people who agree to be Minutemen, and when shit like this pops up, they go and they show up there and they stand with the average Joes, and they have their own body armor, they have their own riot shields, they have everything else. They are the wall between the average people and the police, because that it is obviously needed given the situation that we've seen.
I feel like just if we the militarization of the police is causing you to think that we need a
militarized force.
Yeah,
we do.
for the common man, but I feel like we just need to, like, I don't know, calm down, essentially.
See, and so
like
the fifth night, you were excited about the fifth night then, when Captain Johnson shows up and everything calms down and the protests are super peaceful.
Yeah,
I got upset.
Why because you wanted them to burn the city down?
I don't want them to burn the city. Although another one of my tweets I got retweeted a lot was instructions on how to get from the poor neighborhood where they lived to the richer neighborhoods that are within walking distance. I made a map, and I was like, stop burning your own neighborhoods. Here, walk down this street and then down that street, and that's where you're going to find rich people that you can burn down their neighborhoods and get their attention. It's like the LA riots. I never understood, why do you burn your own neighborhood?
Why do you burn down Compton?
Yeah, why are you burning
Beverly
down Compton?
Hills
Walk 10 minutes, and you're going to be in Beverly Hills, and burn down Beverly Hills, and that'll get a lot of attention, a lot more attention than you burning your own neighborhood. And I'm not the looting and the rioting. That's not what I'm talking about. The organized protesting, fighting back against the police. That's what. So you and I have different perspectives on that. You want everything to calm down. You want the police to demilitarize and to be back what they were before.
Well, so here's the problem. Like, everybody wants this to stop, but the only way we stop this is that the police stop being the police about this. Like, because that's what's caught. So what started the problem, the shooting, was because police get out of hand.
Yeah,
and they take it too far. And now we've just been dealing with, so far, like a week of the police continuously just taking it too far.
Right.
Other than the one night reprieve we had,
where calmer heads prevailed.
Right.
And
I was listening to a story on Umano about when Occupy protests were popping up all over the country, not just in where is it in New York? Zuccotti Park.
Wall Street, yeah, Zuccotti Park.
Zuccotti Park. And the police chief for Salt Lake City
Yeah.
Like his plan was, listen, I'm going to go down there. It's going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk to these guys individually. I'm going to say, listen, the city has decided that they can't have you here all night.
Right.
So every single night I'm going to come by. I'm going to say we got to clear this out.
Yeah. And come back tomorrow morning.
Come back tomorrow morning during when the park is open.
Yeah.
Feel free. If some of your people want to get arrested just for the show of it, we'll arrest you, but we'll do it in a peaceful manner.
I'll bring my 10 guys.
Yeah.
And we'll arrest 10 of your guys, and everybody gets a shot.
Here's how it's going to work. I'm just going to come here. I'm going to say, like, hey, guys, it's time to go.
Right.
And it was super peaceful, and everybody understood the rules.
Right.
The police weren't there to, fuck with protesters. They were there to clear the park.
Right.
Which was a directive from above them.
Right.
I feel like if instead of firing tear gas and rubber bullets at protesters, the police took a more like, all right, we kind of did bad here.
Sorry. Sorry.
We will obviously have to fix this at some point.
Yeah.
Right now is not the time to we can't do anything in the immediate aftermath. So let's all calm down. Let cooler heads prevail. We're going to have an open dialogue with the community about this.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a full investigation, an independent investigation as to what happened. And we will be accepting of what the findings are.
I think that you have drawn a perfect example because Occupy failed miserably. They accomplished nothing. And they accomplished nothing for two reasons. Because there were two different kinds of
They didn't have any
groups.
kind of direct...
Three reasons. Three reasons. Number one, you had the groups that, like Salt Lake City, didn't occupy. They worked with the police and they protested on multiple days, but that was it. And that doesn't draw any attention. And I am free to say that getting attention to the public is part of the reason that you do it. Two, you had other groups like Baltimore and New York that got taken over by anarchists and just degraded into like a hippie fest and let's smoke pot in public and dance around and have sex. And that's why that didn't work. And then the third was that there was no clear direction, and you have to have a bill of rights. You have to have the thing that you're asking for.
Right.
The demands.
Well, they had demands, but there was way too many of them.
Oh yeah, let's give you 100 because let's vote on everything. What do you want? No, 117 demands.
Yeah.
No, you have to have a hierarchy. You have to have direction, even loosely hierarchy.
If Occupy was the entire time was just like, how about we just put everybody who is responsible for the financial collapse in jail?
Let's do what Iceland did.
Yeah.
Successfully. Well, and they should have done it. That should have been the response.
That should have been, and as soon as you knock one out, then we can focus on the other ones.
Yeah.
That's how political movements grow. You take an issue.
Right.
And you be about that issue. And then once you succeed at that issue, to whatever degree you do, you move on to the other ones that spiderweb off that.
Here's what I'll say about that. And, I mean, good for you. You are an idealist, and usually I'm the one who's called an idealist.
Yeah.
I realize that, one, no independent investigation will ever lead to anything. Two, even if it does, they won't accept it. So they'll say they will to get you out of the street. And then 6 weeks from now, when it's all blown over, the cop gets a slap on the wrist, and he's done. He's not done. And maybe he's retired with full pension, rather than having to work all of the years. He worked 6 years, is that what he said? 6 years?
I think it was 6 years.
He'll retire with a 30-year pension and go work for another police department.
Well, he should go to jail.
He should, but he won't. And that's the thing. It will not happen in a far minority of
that's
cases.
the thing. That's the thing. Like, they just... I feel like if you do... two ways. Either say that there's going to be an investigation and you're going to follow it.
Yeah.
You're going to take the recommendation of whoever the independent branch is.
Right.
Or you put him in bracelets tonight.
And what, for show?
No, I mean, just for, listen, you officer who shot
Kid.
Yeah. That is murder.
Whether you're wear the badge or not.
Whether you're an employee of the state or not.
Yeah.
That is murder. You cross the line, and now you're going to jail for murder. Or you're going to be tried for murder.
Neither of those things will ever happen. And if he does, let's just say in a perfect world, your perfect world where he does get tried for murder.
See, but this is
he's gonna get not excommunicated.
A uniform and a badge is an excuse for, if I go to the police academy and I pass the test,
yeah,
and I become a sworn officer,
right.
and I wear a blue uniform with a badge and a gun, and just independently of anything, like there's no call, there's no anything.
Yeah.
I just see some guy wearing an Indianapolis Colts jersey, and I'm just like, boom.
Yeah.
I've had enough of that.
You should go to jail for murder.
I should go to jail for murder. Because if I was a citizen and I did that,
but you will
then
not.
I would go to jail for murder.
You will not go to jail for murder. And here's the thing. This is why you and I
just because I have the police uniform on and I shoot a guy with a Colts jersey and then sprinkle a little crack on him,
yeah,
doesn't mean that it's not a crime anymore. You know?
Oh shit! He didn't have a gun. All right, dump a gun. Sprinkle a little crack on. But no, I mean, so here's the thing. You have this world where you think that if we demilitarize the police force, which won't happen, if we start having responsible police and responsible government, which won't happen, that people start getting held accountable, which won't happen, that we can all live peacefully. And I agree. In your perfect world, that idealized world, that's what's going to happen. But that isn't what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to get more militarized. They're going to come out more often. They're going to send SWAT out to more calls. And nothing is going to get done. You know why things get done? You know why change happens? Because people say, I'm sick of it. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail at an APC. Because the cops shouldn't have APCs to begin with. And by the way, I love that the people from Gaza are giving them tips on how to wear a mask, how to get the tear gas out of their face, how to blow up an APC using weapons that you can make with stuff in your home. It's lovely. But no, and by the way, we've reached a point that people in the third world, arguably the occupied provinces of Israel, are shouting out to people in an American city and saying, "Oh, we know what you're going through. Here, here's some tips and tricks on how to avoid dying." We've reached a point, and something has to be done. You say, let's all calm down and have a dialogue, and I say that, yes, we'll all calm down and have a dialogue, and then everybody will forget, and 6 weeks later we'll go back normal. Well, we don't. Instead of doing that, we do what should have been done, which is the night after everything was peaceful, SWAT got called out again, and people said, okay, so you don't want to have a dialogue. It's clear to us that you do not want to have a real dialogue.
Yeah.
You want us to stop doing what we're doing, and then you're going to start controlling us again. So,
and can our real dialogue not involve Al Sharpton?
Okay, and that's a whole separate issue. We could spend a whole episode talking about how he makes things worse and not better.
Yeah.
But no, so they brought out SWAT again, and then there was rioting again, and then so the next night,
Al Sharpton's about Al Sharpton.
Yeah, he's about himself. No, absolutely, he's about himself and his brand and running for president maybe again. Who knows? But then so that'll
go about it as well as Martin O'Malley for president.
Yeah, keep talking. I'm going to play this back to you in 2016 when President O'Malley is in D.C. Or Vice President O'Malley, maybe.
How much worse can it get?
I almost vote for a Republican. Really. Almost. Close. Tea Party, too. I might vote for a Tea Party over Martin O'Malley for president. But anyway, so
it's times like this that you think Sarah Palin ain't so bad.
But so things got bad, and then, yes, last night, we were watching a clip before we started. Last night, things went where I hope that they go, which is people said, we are not going to take you shooting us, gassing us anymore. And people were down in the street.
People going up against the curfew.
Right.
They instituted a curfew.
Which, again, it's an American city. I have the freedom to be wherever I want to be.
Well, it's an American suburb.
An American suburb, nonetheless. It's a place in America. Martial law.
Thank God this didn't happen in St. Louis.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Like St. Louis proper.
Burn the city down. Burn the whole city down.
Some cop shot a kid underneath the arch.
Yeah, I mean, the whole city would be burning. But
yeah.
And maybe it should. That's my whole point, is that maybe it should burn. Maybe a couple of people last night who took guns out, and when the cops shot at them, they shot back at the cops. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe you need to listen to the kids from Gaza and mix together some chemicals in your basement and blow up an APC. Because the cops they're using military force against you. At some point, you have to say one of two things. I am willing to live like the occupied territories and have people tell me what to do and where to go and when I can do it, and limit my ability to express myself, which is supposed to be a fundamental right, and limit everything else. Or we have to say that systematic change is necessary. And the only way you get systematic change is not through dialogue. It's not through the ballot box. We know that that's not the case. Listen, there's a famous quote that says there are 4 boxes by which the American people can cause change in their government. The first is the soapbox. That hasn't worked out so much. The second is the jury box, and the jury means nothing anymore except for giving millions of dollars to people who spill coffee on themselves.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I know the lady. I understand. I'm actually on the side of the lady who spilled coffee on herself. The jury went crazy. She was asking for like $36,000 in medical bills, and they gave her like $36 million. That's not what she was asking for. Anyway, so I know that. So don't 1%ers don't get on me. Okay, I understand. Yeah. So jury box. The third is the ballot box. We've talked a little bit before about how
not helping anymore.
Not helping anymore. The candidates are chosen for us. We don't really have a choice, and it's two wings of the same party. And really, it doesn't matter who's in charge. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That doesn't matter.
Right.
And the fourth is the ammo box. Those are the four ways by which we can cause change. And no matter who you read, anybody who lived in this country between 1715 and 1815 all had the same mentality. Expect that it's going to happen.
I think the point, and let's wrap up on this because it's going to go to a scary place, I assume.
But yes, it's going to go to a very scary place. And everybody can check out foundingthefuture.blogspot.com because I'm going to start updating on that place with all sorts of interesting stuff.
Anyway, I feel like this can't. The more the police push, the worse it goes.
Absolutely.
And we need to all figure out what do we want. Seemingly accountability is the main thing here. So can we come up with some way to create accountability for what this officer did? Or, Anonymous is talking about releasing tapes.
Of the
dash cam tapes.
Yeah, I hope they do. Anonymous, you're doing such good work. You speak of them as if it's a person, but,
well, no, but I mean,
you're doing good work. Keep it up.
I don't see what the point of, just come out with it. Everything you know.
The police, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to come out.
Yeah. At some point, all it takes is one kid shooting a video out his window of that happening, and this whole story changes again.
Yeah.
So can we just get out with it, figure out what we're going to do, charge the officer if he needs to be charged, just because obviously we're still in this world where innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, first of all, I live in that world, and that is not how it works.
I know, but I'm saying, we're talking very, very matter of fact.
Ideally,
we're charging him for murder kind of thing. But
right? Yes.
I feel like we still need to do the innocent until proven guilty part,
and that should be right.
Because I would expect it.
By the way, he will be innocent until proven guilty. You shoot a kid on the street, good luck. Prove that you're innocent. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Or get a good lawyer who knows everybody enough that he can cut a deal. That's what I do. I cut deals. That's my defense. Okay, so listen. You can't prove that you didn't do it. So, being that you can't prove your innocence, and that's how the things work, I've gotten you a great deal. No jail time.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Right.
Broken system. Broken system. And that's what I'm saying. This is only. You know how they say that, when you have some of these debilitating diseases, that sometimes it pops up in weird ways? If you have lupus, one of the signs is that when you're an adult, you have bad acne because your immune system's all messed up.
Yeah.
So this is the pimple. Ferguson is the pimple. And all of these other, go to adeaddrop.com and you're going to see police blotter on adeaddrop.com. You're going to see all sorts of videos where this is happening all over the country.
Did you see the one where the cop pepper sprayed the black kid who there was a fight and he pepper sprayed a black kid and the black kid had nothing to do with the fight?
Well, yeah, but he was there.
And everybody black, there's just video of people going he didn't do anything, and the officers it's security though. It's rent a cop.
Well, no, but they are police officers who express that they are police officers, but they're off the clock. They're working security somewhere. But New York, Portland, Miami, there's so much out there that these are the pimples that are popping up and showing that we have a systematic problem underneath the surface. And these are where we get Ferguson's a real bad breakout. That's when you're when you're 15 and your whole face breaks out, a big ass spot there. Yeah. So that's what Ferguson is. But there are these other little things that are poking out. And there's a problem we need to deal with it. And Corey for president, he's gonna have an open dialogue with the people and fix everything.
We're all gonna sit out back and smoke cigarettes until we get this done.
We're gonna sit. I think that's the Franklin Roosevelt way. Like, let's sit down and smoke some cigarettes and sit in our sulfur spring water and talk about this.
Or we could do the who was the skinny dipper? LBJ?
No. Taft? Is it Taft? No. Roosevelt,
No.
maybe? No. Somebody in that time frame
somewhere in that area.
who swam naked in the Potomac. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, good luck swimming in the Potomac now.
Yeah.
Like the harbor.
Have your skin come off like fucking.
I don't need clothes anymore. I don't even have skin. All right. But anyway, so as always, you're listening to the podcast.
Oh, and vote for us for Best of Baltimore.
Oh, that's right. We didn't. I don't think we hit that at all last night.
No, that's all right though.
Best of Baltimore. Go in and vote for us for best podcast in Baltimore. You're not going to hear this anywhere else except for here. So
yeah, I don't know who else is talking about this shit.
I don't think so. I don't think anybody. But so and again, I'd just like to repeat that my views are my views alone. They're not Corey's. They're not that of the Anthem Podcast. They're not that of OTA Digital or the Anthem Productions or anyone else. They are mine and mine alone. And certainly, I would never advocate for an open and violent overthrow of the United States government. That is not what I'm in fact advocating for, just so it's clear. We're having an educational discussion about system change. That's all.
Right. You're just saying that hypothetically that's an option.
Hypothetically, that's the option we should take. But I'm not advocating that happened. That's the clear difference, just so it's clear.
I would like to imagine that we're able to solve these problems before it gets to that point.
And coming out in Q4 of 2014, The Movement, Insurrection, by Robert Cheek, a fiction novel. Which everyone should read.
The longer time goes by, that just moves down the aisle to the nonfiction.
I mean, I'm hoping. Eventually somebody's like, okay, so this is now a history book. All right. Anyway, so again, you're listening to the Anthem Podcast, part of the Anthem Digital Network. You can find me online everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, all your social networking, at Robert N. Cheek. Check out A Dead Drop, adeaddrop.com, for all the most interesting stuff you're going to find all around the web. Like I said, if you're interested in this topic, we have an entire section called Police Blotter, which is all about stories about the police. But you can also click on funny stuff, and it's stupid pictures that I find on the internet.
Yeah.
And you can reach me, robertncheek at gmail.com, or a dead dropper, just PER in the end, at gmail.com. Hit your stuff.
OTheAnthem.com, Corey at OTheAnthem.com, OTheAnthem on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Vimeo, YouTube, all the good ones. And obviously you can call our listener line if you would like to talk about a violent overthrow of Rob. I'm fine with
People are
it.
going to rise up and kick me off the podcast.
We're going to replace you with somebody who looks good.
Colin? No?
No.
No, not Colin.
Welcome to the Anthem Podcast. This is Corey. This is Olivia Munn.
Oh, yeah, well, sure.
There we go.
Let's get Olivia. Let's get her in here just as a guest star, I think.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But if you want to call and insist that Rob be replaced by Olivia Munn, the number is 443-219-7595.
I'm not going to ask you to repeat it because I don't want to. Well, no, what was it?
You want to know what it is again?
Yeah, what is it?
443-219-7595.
You heard me mention, I didn't talk to you about this, but I think I'm going to start doing that. I feel like I need to have a place that I can rant and rave about all the crazy stuff. So, I used to have
I still think we should have like a dead drop weekly.
What, all the best stories from the week?
Yeah, and just like a quick video hit.
So, we could do that. We could do.
Let's talk about that after we're done.
Yeah,
here.
but I'm also foundingthefuture.blogspot.com is where you can find my political rantings, and I think I'm going to start updating that a little more often and have a place where I can do all that stuff, because obviously it's not always appropriate to do it on Facebook or the places that I choose to do it. So,
and next week, you'll get to hear me talk about how Chicago was.
Right, and
because I will be at Wrigley Field. I will be at. It's not Comiskey anymore.
Whatever it was.
U.S. Cellular
Park? Oh, U.S. Cellular Park. Yeah. That's right. And you're going to see the White Sox and the Cubs while you're there.
Yeah, right now we have tickets to one game each, but I imagine that's going to escalate.
Yeah. Well, good. So enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.
I guess you're hearing this when you're already back, but yeah. And I'm getting ready to go on vacation.
Well, the next time I hear this is when I'm mixing it. So.
Oh, true. Right. Yeah. But no,
I probably won't listen to it when it's released. Seeing as I've already listened to it 3 times.
And then, so I'm leaving to go to Hawaii, and the week after, we're gonna hear about Corey's trip to Chicago, and then the week after that, we'll be talking about me going to Hawaii, going to paradise. And it'll be like, this is like our vacation. It's weird that we are organizing it like adults and stuff.
I know.
Taking vacations and
some nice places too, not just Ocean City.
I know.
Fucking beach people.
Fucking beach people.
All right, well, this is Corey.
And this is Rob.
Thank you for listening. This is the O the Anthem podcast and O the Anthem digital
Part of the O the
Anthem
Digital Network. Have a good week, everybody.
See ya.